so this is 3 questions to ask yourself now so that you can thrive in 2025.
Are you ready to speak up, stand out, and get your seat at the table? If so, you're in the right place. Welcome to Unmute Yourself, the podcast where you'll get real-life anecdotes and actionable tools for you to step into your strengths, debunk imposter syndrome, truly know your worth, and show up like you own the room every time. I'm your host, Nancy Medoff, who did the thing and followed my passion for empowering women like you to unleash that inner spark and become who you know you are meant to be. I'm a diehard foodie with a raging Skittles habit who will not stop until women everywhere unmute themselves and truly thrive at work, at home, or wherever you may be. Let's do this.
Podsters, what is up? It is a borderline miracle that I am coming at you today. I am using a borrowed computer because I am getting a new one, and it's with the computer gods who are formatting it, transferring files from my old one. So I'm on like a little janky computer. Not sure how the sound's going to be, not sure how the visuals are going to be. I'm out here anyway because I really feel like this is an important message. So what I want to talk about is how you can go through the next few weeks in December, which probably a lot of people's favorite months. Maybe for some people it's not. 3 questions to ask yourself as you're going through the next several weeks of wrapping up the year, looking towards the future, so that you can really set yourself up to thrive in 2025. So it's thrive in 25. 3, they're called high gain questions. So a high gain question is a question that causes you to really think about an answer. There's not an easy answer. And one of the reasons why I think these are so important is because I have asked myself these questions. I'm looking at my business, I'm looking at my offerings, I'm looking at 2025 and beyond. I built a great business over the past several years. How many years is it now? It's at least 5 years, probably 6. And I want to really focus in on what is going to bring me the most joy and where I'm going to have the most impact and where I'm going to have the most peace. So this is something that I'm going through. And if you're anything like me, which most of you probably are, like attracts like, and if you're listening to this podcast, I'm sure there's some similarities in how we think, our values, all those things. So this is going to be a shorty episode. Quick three things to ask yourself as you're going through the next few weeks. I'll be back next week with a full episode. I will be back in 2025 with all the experts about how to set goals. This now is more about you looking inward and really thinking over the next several weeks. So here are 3 questions I want you to ask yourself. So this is if you are looking to make a change in 25, if you're looking to do more of the same in 25, if you're ready to blow things up, if you would rather not and ease into the new year. Doesn't matter where you are. If you are thinking about how you want to live, these are 3 really powerful questions. Ready? Okay. By the way, I'm going to download a link. I'm going to offer a link in the show notes so you can download these questions. This is as you're thinking about your next chapter or what's next for you. Number 1, I am most joyful when. So there's a few ways you can approach this question. 1, you can say, well, I'm most joyful when I'm sipping a margarita on the beach in the Caymans or something like that. Realistically, what we're looking for here is in your day-to-day, when are you most joyful or when are you happiest? Is it in the morning? Is it right before you go to bed? Is it the middle of the day? Is it when you're with your kids? Is it when you're with your partner? Is it when you're with your girlfriends? Is it when you're alone? Whatever the case may be. I am most joyful when. That is question number 1. I'm going to tell you when I'm most joyful. And this may sound a little absurd. I am most joyful when I am relaxed. And I don't mean feet up sitting in front of the fireplace. Of course, that's tremendous joy for me. You know, it could be sitting quietly at my kitchen table in the morning with a candle going. That's part of my morning ritual. And watching the sunrise in the woods. That to me is relaxing. It could be when I look around the room in my home and there are 15 people who don't really know each other that well, who are having a great time getting to know each other. That to me is, I can relax and take a step back and see this. It could be when I am sitting on a beach and just listening to the water. So I'm most, or it could also be when a client has a breakthrough. So when someone comes to me and says, Nancy, you have made this so much easier. You have made this so much more simple. The work we've done really has had a big impact. That to me is an incredible amount of joy. So all of these times is when I'm most joyful. So when I write this question down, this is what I will write down, all of these and more. And you might not have the answers right away to this question or these questions. That's okay. Simply having them top of mind is going to make you aware and make you more conscious of what you want more of and what brings you joy. That's the goal here. It's not to answer all these questions, print it out, keep it on your desk. That's great. If that works for you, really the question is just the goal here is to start thinking about things. And after today, by the way, Podsters, I'm going to have some other ones that are really powerful. That's going to be going into the new year. This is more of a get you and get you in the right mindset. Okay. Number 2, who in my life makes me feel the most alive? Or who in my life makes me feel most like myself? I actually like that second one a little better. Your choice, Podsters. Who in my life makes me feel most like me? Who in my life makes me feel most alive? And I want you to think out of the box, to coin a phrase that I don't love here. Who lights you up? Who do you, when you see the phone ring or you see your alert go off on your phone, you're like, oh, that's a no-brainer. I'm taking this call because I really enjoy this person. Or who makes me feel most like me? And that's a really tough question. The goal of that question is, so when you start thinking about this, you will start naturally gravitating towards those people. And when you feel most like yourself or when you feel most alive, that is when you will feel the most comfortable. And that's when you'll be the most productive. And that's when you will be the most possible iteration of you, which is really what we're aiming for here, not the masks that we wear, not I'm a mother, not I'm a corporate executive, not I'm an elected government official, not I'm a wife, not I'm a, none of that. This is I'm me. This is Nancy. These people make me feel the most like Nancy. And that is a tough question. So for you, obviously, it would be these people make you feel the most like insert name. And then finally, I told you this was going to be a shorty. The third question is, what or who brings me the most peace? There's a difference between peace and joy, and that difference is very subjective, and that difference is going to vary based on who you are, what you value, and how you interpret these two different descriptions. So what or who brings me the most peace? For me, having time to do what I want to do, having unscheduled time brings me the most peace. I am extraordinarily overscheduled, despite every year making that my New Year's resolution is I will schedule less. I will not overextend myself. I'll say no. And I do all of these things. Sometimes it's circumstantial. Sometimes it's who you are and how you're choosing to live. So for me, what brings me the most peace is when I can control my free time. And that is a full vulnerability here. That is sometimes a mythical unicorn for me. This month, absolutely not. Very little time. I have very little time unscheduled. That now we can talk about boundaries. Okay, you can set boundaries. Yes, you can. We just did an episode a couple of weeks ago about this. I do that. I say no more often than most. And at the same time, there's things that are simply out of my control. And I could say no, but the collateral damage from that is not worth it to me. So for me, what or who brings me the most peace is having control of my own time. So just having that conversation with myself sets me up as I look towards goal setting for the new year, or as I even start the inkling of the thought of goal setting for the new year, simply having that knowing that this is what brings me the most peace, having that clarity subconsciously makes me gravitate towards more of that. So it's subconsciously because we're not sitting down and writing these goals yet. Maybe you are, and if you are, that's great. I'm not ready to do that yet. When you think about what or who brings you the most peace, you will gravitate towards that. That will be top of mind as you're setting up your year. That will be top of mind as you're deciding how to spend your holidays. And having that clarity will get you to a place where you can consciously or subconsciously make that happen for yourself. And trust me on this when I say that, again, simply thinking about these 3 questions, they will be in your mind and you will naturally start gravitating towards people, places, things that bring you the most joy, people, places, things that bring you the most peace, and people, places, things that make you feel the most alive. So that's it for today, Podsters. I think it's important. I wanted to get this out because as we enter into December, there's a lot of fun. There's a lot of catching up with old friends. There's a lot of relaxing. There's a lot of things, and they're all great. And then we get into January and it's grind, grind, grind for many of us who choose to set our years up that way. And so now's the time to really think about it. Take a look around and think about it. And I promise you, this will have an impact on your goal setting, which we will talk about next time. So until then, Podsters, peace out. See you next week.
That's a wrap, Podsters. And before we go, I ask you, what's one thing from today's episode that you will use this week to unmute yourself? DM me, email me, send a smoke signal, whatever you need to do. Let me know what you're going to do differently. And if you enjoyed this episode, please share it with someone you know and leave a 5-star review on Apple. This helps me spread our message of empowerment to more people worldwide. Let's do this.